Tom Keating, the master of forgery, techniques, tricks, and the art of deception. Tom Keating, 1917 to 1984, a name synonymous with art forgery, was one of the most notorious and talented forgers in modern British art history. His forgeries were so convincing that even expert art historians and curators were deceived by his intricate techniques. Keating's works were not only imitations of famous artists such as J.M.W. Turner, Rembrandt, and Van Gogh, but also a creative expression of his own profound understanding of artistic methods and an unapologetic rebellion against the art world. In this article, we explore Keating's remarkable forgeries, his methods, and how he managed to outwit the art world for decades. This narrative is sponsored by Polly Speaks For You. The creator of Polly Speaks For You has always been committed to breaking down barriers and enabling people with disabilities or learning challenges to interact with the world meaningfully through voice recognition and text-to-speech technology. By bringing together technology and historical storytelling, Polly Speaks For You is a powerful tool that allows people to preserve and tell their stories. Now, let's dive into the fascinating world of Tom Keating and his forgeries. 1. The art of deception, Keating's techniques. Tom Keating's forgeries were so remarkable that they not only resembled the works of old masters, but also captured the very essence of their styles. His work was an exploration of how far an artist could push traditional techniques while maintaining authenticity. Keating's approach to forgery. Mastering the old masters. Keating studied the works of renowned artists meticulously. By immersing himself in the techniques and nuances of painters like Turner, Rembrandt, and others, he became a master in recreating their styles. A layered process. Keating used multiple layers of paint, deliberately allowing them to dry at different rates, mimicking the natural aging process of oil paintings. He even used specific brushes and tools that were characteristic of the artists he was imitating. Faux aging. To make his forgeries appear older, Keating used various methods to simulate the effects of time. He would use linseed oil, varnish, and specific solvents to crack and age the surface of his paintings. He also worked with old canvases that had the right texture and were to give the illusion of age. Tips for recreating Keating's techniques. A layering and aging. Start by layering paint in thick and thin applications to recreate the depth and texture seen in old masters' works. Use varnishes and oils carefully to manipulate the surface and simulate age. Brush selection. Use old, worn brushes to recreate the subtleties of brushstrokes that define the works of historical artists. Understanding the medium. Keating's work involved extensive knowledge of the materials used by past artists, from oil paints to pigments, which allowed him to create a convincing forgery that held up under scrutiny. 2. Keating's forged Turner, a masterful imitation. One of Keating's most famous forgeries was of the works by J.M.W. Turner, the British landscape painter known for his expressive use of light and color. Keating managed to forge Turner's vibrant seascapes with such precision that even Turner's most devoted scholars were taken in by his imitation. Turner's style, a light and atmosphere. Turner was renowned for his masterful portrayal of light and atmosphere in his landscapes. Keating studied Turner's manipulation of light, particularly how Turner used light to evoke mood. Brushstroke technique. Keating's method involved creating wisps and blends of color in the same way Turner did, using short, energetic strokes that blended together to create the illusion of movement and texture in the sky and water. How Keating recreated Turner's magic. Pigment choices. Keating carefully selected pigments that matched Turner's characteristic hues, often creating subtle gradations of color that enhanced the atmospheric quality of his forgeries. Motion in the work. By manipulating the texture and surface of the painting, Keating could make his forgeries appear as if they were in constant motion, much like Turner's own seascapes. 3. Tom Keating's motivation. Art or money? Keating was not just a forger. He was also a skilled artist in his own right, and his motivation for forging works by other artists was driven by a mix of financial necessity, personal defiance, and an underlying desire for recognition. Keating's attitude toward the art world. Rebellion against the elite. Keating believed that the art world was obsessed with wealth and elitism, and his forgeries were a form of rebellion against what he saw as a superficial system. He felt that many artists were valued not for their talent, but for their ability to fit into a market-driven art world. Personal artistic expression. While many forgers simply copied, Keating's approach was to channel the spirit of the artist he was imitating. His work was an expression of his own interpretation of the old masters, and his forgeries were, in a sense, a tribute to these iconic artists. Keating's legacy. Tom Keating's work has often been misunderstood. While some critics view him as a mere criminal, others consider him a clever artist who used the art of forgery to reflect his views on the art world. His legacy is a complex one, where his incredible skill in imitation is sometimes overshadowed by the fact that his work was, in essence, a deception. For forgeries in the art world, a fine line. Keating's forgeries raise questions about the value of art, authenticity, and the role of the artist. As technology advances, questions about the authenticity of art will only become more pertinent. Keating's work reminds us that art, in its most personal form, can sometimes transcend its own historical identity. The ethics of forgery. While Keating's forgeries were groundbreaking in their precision and artistry, they also highlight the ethical dilemma that art forgers face. Does the value of art lie in the artist's name, or in the emotional and aesthetic impact the work creates? Conclusion. The legacy of Tom Keating. Tom Keating's incredible talent and audacity have left an indelible mark on the world of art forgery. His forgeries, particularly of artists like Turner, demonstrate an unparalleled mastery of technique and understanding of old masters' methods. His work serves as a fascinating study of deception and artistry, blurring the lines between homage and fraud. Keating's story is a testament to the complexity of art itself, where authenticity and creativity collide in the pursuit of artistic expression. If you've enjoyed this article, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. To learn more about South Africa's leading accessibility software, visit www.polispeaks4u.co.za and support this meaningful dyslexic initiative. Thank you for reading.